nobody but you.
What is it? What is that from?
It's a song.
I mean, I know that.
In my head for some reason.
Oh, you don't know why? Yeah.
Don't know why.
It's the BRANE Show coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue. The bull stand tall. We the people, united won't fall. We the people as our beat and rhyme. We're dropping old school values every time. Extreme honesty with a fresh twist. Breaking it down, you don't wanna miss. It's freedom talk, loud and proud. Voice of the people, can't be cowed. Every week, we speak our mind. For love of country, it's one of a kind. So grab a seat, let the BRANE Show roll. We're serving up truth, heart and soul. Brian and Shane with that patriot steel. For the people, by the people, of the people, let's go. It's the BRANE Show coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bull stand tall. We the people, united won't fall. It's the BRANE Show coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bull stand tall. We the people, united won't fall. It's the BRANE Show coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bull stand tall. We the people, united won't fall. It's the BRANE Show coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bull stand tall. We the people, united won't fall. It's the BRANE Show coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bull stand tall. We the people, united won't fall. It's the BRANE Show coming in hot every week. We bring the truth when we speak. Red, white, and blue, the bull stand tall. We the people, united won't fall.
This is for America!
Shut the fuck up!
I think the real Statue of Liberty needs cleavage. I mean, I'm just being honest here.
I don't disagree with that.
They make
I don't think I would ever disagree with it.
To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair.
Will you fight? No! We will run!
And we will
We
live.
will live!
Shame on you. This could be the greatest night of our lives. But you're gonna let it be the worst.
And I guarantee you, a week won't go by in your life you won't regret walking out, letting them get the best of you.
Well, I'm not going home.
Day may come when the courage of men fails, but it is not this day.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
I'm not saying it's gonna be easy.
You're gonna work harder than you ever worked before.
I really do believe that together we can accomplish anything.
Because we'll never stop learning and we'll never stop growing.
Failure is not an option.
That's how winning is done. Believe me when I say
We can
By
break
the way,
this
Bring It
army
On
here.
is low-key
It
a
has
good
made
movie.
us brothers.
Prove me wrong.
I say to you, what every warrior has known since the
no good,
beginning
I've
of
never-
time. You've got to get mad.
First movie is great.
plumb mad dog me.
Is that the dancing
If you
movie?
would be free,
Cheerleader movie.
then you must
Fight to
You
fulfill
only
that
said-
promise. Let us
Cut out their living
Good
guts.
movie.
1 inch at a time.
And they will know what we can do!
Let no man forget how menacing we are. We are lions.
This is your time. Seize the day. Never surrender.
Victory or death.
So come on, then! Take it!
this is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
All right, let's fly! My name is the Lord. When I
Tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take
our Independence Day.
You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world.
We don't sleep to dream, we sleep to build stamina. Energy to do our thing, get your camera up. This show is about to begin. Down and buckle it in, let's go!
Oh, yeah! My name is Brian Nettiche, and you are watching The BRANE Show. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing pretty good considering I was up till 2 a.m. watching the brand new F1 with Brad Pitt. Woo!
Oh, I'm guessing you liked it.
I like every racing movie that's ever been made, bro.
And you're also the reason I couldn't watch Murderbot last night.
Why? Why am I the reason?
Because it was on Apple TV, right?
I wasn't watching Apple TV.
Oh. I thought it was on Apple TV, that movie.
I mean, I don't know, but I wasn't watching it.
Oh. All right.
I was at the movies watching.
Oh, I couldn't watch Murderbot last night. For some reason, Apple TV was like down. I was like so annoyed.
That's because they wanted everybody to go to the movies and watch F1. It is an Apple original.
Well, I'm so glad you guys are here with us today. We are talking about some movies, some politics. We're going to be talking about the F1 movie. We're going to be talking about Ironheart, the new mayor or possible mayor or whatever that story is on that from New York. Some SCOTUS news coming down the pipe and a lot of interesting stuff. There's been a lot of news the last couple weeks, and we missed you guys last week because I was just too tired to do the show, frankly speaking. But we're here today.
It sounds lazy. You had a good reason. Like, you can't just say, I was just too tired to do
I was
the show.
exhausted. I was physically, mentally exhausted. I couldn't even move.
Because you were working really hard. You gotta, this is America.
Because I was working hard. I was editing. Right.
It's America. You can't just lay on the couch and say you're too tired.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's not an option, I was editing. I've been editing nonstop. I was editing this morning. I was editing last night. I'm editing. As someone who used to really love creating things and editing, now that it's like a daily, hourly thing, definitely gonna need a break in a couple weeks. I'm gonna need a break from editing. But I love it. What'd you do this week, Shane?
Same thing for writing, researching and writing. It's not fun, but after a while you get tired of it, but you need a little break, and I'm getting a little break. I'm actually going to be gone next week. So, so I mean, Brian and I have been working hard on our stuff, our projects. The BRANE Show is still strong and we love it. We're going to keep doing it. We just haven't been able to, that hasn't been our main focus lately. So it's a nice break. This is a break, actually.
It's a break. Yeah.
And talk to you guys. So
yeah, we love it.
Doing good.
All right, so let's just jump right into this thing. I did want to start off with the thumbnail. Let's talk about Ironheart.
All right.
I watched the first 3 episodes on Disney Plus. I gotta say, regardless of their horrid content lately, Disney Plus is becoming for me the best streaming service to have. And I used to be on the Peacock train where I was like, Peacock's the best service, dollars to dollars, value for entertainment. Peacock's the best, and Peacock's still up there, but Peacock has stopped acquiring new stuff. They don't have a lot of new things that aren't reality shows, slop. And so it's becoming a little bit of a wasteland for me because I don't care about Love Island or MILF Island or MILF Manor, whatever the hell it is.
Isn't that Netflix though? Really, that does that?
I don't know.
Netflix.
I mean, Netflix also has a bunch of reality show garbage.
That's all Netflix is to me.
Yeah, a lot of it is. But dude, Peacock lately, like you go on Peacock and everything is just reality show. Every new thing is reality.
I go to Peacock for the old stuff.
Right, but when you run out, when you're not in the mood to watch like, The Office for the 14th time that day, it starts to get a little dry. And so what I have is the Disney Hulu Max bundle.
Oh, I was just made aware of this. If you do it through Max, you actually save more money than if you do it through Disney.
Yes, and so I did it through Max, and so for $25, I get Max, Disney, and Hulu. Hulu is not important. Hulu is not
fantastic. Hulu's critical.
No, but having Hulu itself, like going to Hulu, not the important part. But having Hulu on the package is what makes Disney Plus so valuable. Because now Disney Plus, the streaming service, that individual streaming service gets access to all the other stuff. So it's funny, you go to Hulu, you don't have all the Disney stuff. You don't have a lot of the Max stuff. But you go to Max, you don't get all the Disney and all the Hulu stuff. But if you go to
Disney, you get all the Max stuff?
Not all the Max stuff, but a lot of it. So you get a bunch of Max stuff, and you get all the Hulu stuff and all the Disney stuff. So all of a sudden, that one streaming service is like your one-stop shop. And there's no ads. So it's an easy service to use. So I find myself going on there often to watch TV. And so when Ironheart popped up, I wasn't going to watch it. And then I saw all the memes and all that, and I'm like, okay, well, might as well give it a shot, right? And I turned it on, and first off, right out the gate, like, this is the cringiest, wokest thing since the most recent Doctor Who, is what I told that to John, actually. And it is. You know, Doctor Who is worse because the character is worse, but there are so many more characters in this show that are just hyper cringe, like beyond cringe. It reminds me of like the old late 90s, like Mutant X TV shows they tried to do that was all hip and colorful and didn't work. But you take that style, that Mutant X late 90s, like garbage, slick TV, and you mix it with everything that's woke and Marxist now, and you have Ironheart. This character is unlikable to the extreme. Nothing's likable about her. She's essentially just a thief. She's working at MIT, or she's going to school at MIT, but in the process, the money and the equipment and the stuff that she's getting from MIT to work on her suit and her inventions is not enough. So she's helping students cheat by selling inventions. And it's funny because she sells like a personal force field, essentially, for like a few $100 for some guy's like science project. And I'm like, you know, that you could have sold that to DARPA for millions of dollars. Like, I don't like,
well, this is why she's still poor.
If you need resources, like, I don't.
So you got a poor mentality.
So she causes a bunch of havoc. She got, you know, a bunch of thousands of dollars worth of damage at MIT. And basically, you have someone like Jim Rash, who apparently always plays a dean in everything he's in. Yeah. He's just always the dean of a school. He's the guy who's the dean from Community. And Jim Rash basically kicks her out of MIT. Well, in the process of leaving, she basically steals her Iron Man suit. And the excuse is, well, that was her grant money, so it's hers. Well, that's not how grant money works, first off. That's just it's not hers.
Nice try, though.
So she steals it. Well, they revoke her access to the AI or whatever that's in the suit, and she crashes, and now she's in Chicago, somewhere in the hood. And ultimately, she ends up getting a job working for a bunch of criminals. And these criminals are silly to the extreme. So the leader of the criminal gang is called the Hood. And I'm not joking.
That's some creative shit right there.
And
that's some creative writing.
Yeah.
What do we call the gangster? Where they at? Oh, they're in the hood.
And he wears
the hood.
He wears like a little Red Riding Hood shawl.
Jesus Christ.
Like, it literally looks like something you would get at like Spirit Halloween, you know, in November. He wears this shawl, and I guess it gives him superpowers. It's like magic or something.
Nice.
And another character is Slug, played by, and I have no idea what this person's gender is to this day. I looked it up, and I can't tell.
That's the key. They don't want you to know.
The person's name in real life is Shea Coulee. That can go either way. It can be a man or woman. Don't know.
My name's Shane. I get it. Yeah.
Shea. And this person is obnoxiously drag queen, like hyper makeup, gigantic features, all the stuff that you would associate.
You watched 3 episodes. Kudos, bro.
Yeah. All the things you would associate with the most drag queen of all drag queens. And she has 3-inch nails, and apparently she is the best hacker on the planet. I have no idea how this person is typing on a keyboard with those nails, but they don't show it, obviously, because it's not possible.
Yeah.
And
then
we
don't need to type when you have the power of femininity.
Right. Yeah.
Coming through.
Yeah, you have woke superpowers.
Masculinity.
And the character, the Hood's cousin, is this guy. He's actually, I like this actor a lot. He's played by Manny Montana. He was the dude from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, the gangster kid, you know?
Yeah. Is he related to Hannah Montana? Just kidding.
Yeah, he's actually a really good character. He dies immediately, so it doesn't.
No,
matter.
he's a good character. He was great in those 2 shows.
He was great in those shows. Yeah, he's really, really good actor. I think it's a benefit for him to have been killed off this quickly in this show. You don't
Probably asked for it.
You don't want. Yeah, he looked at the script. He's like,
I wasn't Breaking Bad, right?
Hey, can we change this? I see here, Slug dies. Can you make it so that my character dies first, please? I need the paycheck, but I don't want to be associated with this shit. And then, so she needs an AI for her Ironheart Iron Man suit to work. And what it is she can't work on her suit without the resources that Tony had. Even though Tony built his first suit in a cave with scraps, she needs resources. The reason she can't be successful is because she doesn't have the billions of dollars in resources that Tony Stark had. She can't be better than Tony Stark because Tony Stark is a rich white man. And she is a poor black woman.
Let me break in on you real quick right there, okay? So let's stop with that right there, and you can continue in just a second. But so the number one review of all the reviews that came in on this was like 19,000 upvotes on this review. I'm going to read it to you real quick. It's a 1-star review on Ironheart.
Okay.
Ironheart is a disappointing and frustrating addition to the MCU that completely disrespects the legacy of what came before. Let's start with the worst offense. Tony Stark, the literal heart of the MCU, is boiled down to nothing more than a rich guy. Ren Williams dismisses his legacy by claiming he was Iron Man only because of his wealth. That line alone shows the writers don't understand Tony's character or journey. This is the man who built a life-saving suit in a cave with scraps, who outsmarted gods and gave his life to save the universe. He wasn't a hero because he had money. He was a hero because he had heart, brilliance, and sacrifice. To reduce him to a bank account is lazy, disrespectful, and completely tone deaf to the foundation of the fucking franchise.
Epic.
Well,
Epic.
Great.
That is an amazing review. Please send me that so I can repost that.
Got it.
Incredible review. And yeah, and that's exactly the case. So she makes this AI. She needs an AI for her suit to run. And so she is trying to create this AI, and she hooks up her brain to the computer or something. I don't understand the technology of it. None of this shit makes sense, by the way. And she goes to sleep, and essentially the computer builds an AI based on her brain or something. I don't know. Then her dead friend shows up. Her friend who was dead is now her AI, but this AI has none of the
is that like cheap Jarvis?
Oh, it's even worse though, because its AI has like none of the capabilities of an AI. It's like it's neurotic, and it gets post-traumatic stress disorder, and it has panic attacks, and it gets mad, and it calls Riri Bish, and it's like
so it's Gen Z AI.
It's super just like hood rat AI.
And why?
And there's this moment where Riri tells Nat, who's the AI, stay here, I'm going to go to work. Well, the Nat doesn't want to stay there. So she like puts herself in the computer, and she uses like a DDoS attack against the computer's chipset to get out. That's not how, first off, a DDoS. I don't want to go in the weeds in this, but a DDoS attack is not a hack. It's literally designed to shut a system down. It's a resource hack. It takes all the resources from a computer or a server until it can no longer operate. If she had actually used that attack, she would have effectively shut herself down. But whatever. Then she gets out and she warns Riri or something, but then she has a panic attack and she fucking freezes, literally like freezes, like a computer freezes. Anyways, and I'm gonna get to the gist of this. She eventually meets up with Alden Ehrenreich, the guy.
Somebody who has money.
Yeah, well, he's like a weapons dealer, right?
Do you want to know? Yeah. Oh, okay.
And he's like the son of Obadiah Stane, like the guy from the first Iron Man movie, like Tony Stark's partner.
Of course.
And this guy asked her, you lack style in your suit. Where's your arc reactor? And she goes, some of us can't afford an arc reactor. My suit's powered by solar and wind power. And I burst out laughing. Literally, I burst out laughing in the middle of my living room. I had to rewind it. I had to rewind it and put subtitles on because I had to know what she said was solar and wind power. That fucking suit would last 3 minutes on solar power.
If she doesn't fight crime at night, huh?
Right. Well, the next shot is her extending her solar powers at night. At night. Anyways.
They don't know how the sun works. I got it.
Long story short, is basically this character has to steal so she can work on her suit because she wants to be iconic.
Wait, so does this weapons dealer guy give her everything she needs?
Essentially, yeah. Like she basically threatens him. Oh, and this weapons dealer is like the most classic white dude ever. He literally walking through his house, he had like 4 live, laugh, love posters on the wall.
Of course.
I'm not joking.
So it's like the government basically giving her money like welfare. Right, that's how she gets her parts.
I'm not really sure how she gets him to help her, but she basically threatens him, and then he takes her to his evil lair where he has all this black market equipment, and they're like becoming friends, I guess, through this process. And so she's friends with this like weapons dealer, and she's working for this gang who's called, the Hood Gang or whatever. And it's interesting, their first job is they basically threaten like this Tesla type character. It's literally like a female version of Elon Musk, essentially. And they it's just like the Boring Company, where he's like, that's his idea for like the loop, And this person is testing out their new loop where like the cars are like traveling really fast through this underground system. They have this like bankrupt logic where they're like, well, those tunnels used to be part of old Chicago, and that's part of our history. They're co-opting our history for their new rich person technology or something. I don't know. Like these tunnels are not in use. They have no value to anyone whatsoever. This rich Tesla type figure is co-opting these things to give the city more mass transit. None of it is a bad thing. It all looks like they're trying to make Chicago a better, safer, cleaner place. But they somehow have this bankrupt logic that this is the bad guy and we're going to steal from the evil, rich, white colonist or whatever. And we're going to take what's ours because we're iconic. And they're trying to paint these guys as like the Robin Hood type gang. Okay. But they're all just a bunch of assholes. Like, they're stealing from, rich people, but this person did nothing wrong to anyone. Anyways, well, they basically
Brian, they did do something wrong. They're rich.
Yeah. So they trapped this like female Elon Musk in the tunnel, in the car, in the test that she's taking, and he appears out of nowhere because he's magic and he has invisible powers, and he threatens her life and he says, "You're going to sign this contract where we all get 6-figure incomes and stock options in your company." And she's like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And she signs them. And like the next shot, I'm not joking, is like them all in their lair fucking throwing money around like they just like robbed someone. And I'm like, none of this is adding up because first off, you cornered the CEO of this company and you said, you're going to give us all 6-figure jobs in your tunnels and stock options. How does that instantly become piles of money that they're throwing around in their lair? I don't get that. And that's your question, Shane. If I threatened your life to sign a contract to give me a job, what would you do the fucking second you were no longer in danger?
Well, apparently I'd give you all the cash I had in the closest bank and then let you take it and throw it around.
I would just cancel that. Like, just, you guys, tear the contract out.
Yeah.
It's not a blood oath, dude. You're not right. You're not signing your soul to the devil.
Give your soul to the devil. You can't get out of it. I don't know what's funny.
I understand the logic.
Ironheart. I don't want to talk about this too much longer because it's just depressing.
Right.
But Ironheart, just so everybody's aware, Ironheart is now battling for the absolute bottom spot on all of Disney Plus's shows, ranking just a hair above Secret Invasion. So, yeah, it's not gonna. It's not going to be there much longer.
So,
and like you said in the chat, it's the dying embers of what Disney started back in 2021. So,
right. And just to wrap this up, this member chat from Canada Rogue is perfect. The suit wasn't the problem. Anyone can make a suit. The big problem was the arc reactor to power it. Nothing else had enough power for the suit, unless you count wind power, apparently.
Or moon, solar, night, sun power.
Everything about this show is woke and cringy. None of it's believable. The few characters that are interesting are believable, like Manny Montana, Eric Andre, which was sort of funny, are instantly killed off. Like, instantly killed off. And so this is not going to go anywhere. This is going to go down as the one of the worst things they've ever produced. I would not actually be surprised if it got the Willow treatment. And pretty much immediately after it had ran, it was just written off as a giant tax write-off.
Well, you know why it's on. They ran it at all, right?
Well, because because the Kruger, Ryan, whatever his name is, the director.
I don't even think that's the reason. I think the reason why is they said, shit, we need to keep putting new content. We need to keep marketing new content to Disney Plus. And it was just cheaper. They'd already spent so much money on it. It was just cheaper to let it get to Disney Plus for the marketing to bring in hopefully new viewers who will be like, oh, this is shit. But hey, we at least got your money. And oh, maybe you'll stick around now. But yeah, if this goes more than season one, I mean, seriously.
No way.
Maybe Disney isn't making a U-turn because it shouldn't.
It's not even getting 8 episodes. Like, it's getting 6 episodes total.
Jesus. Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, the streaming, all this is a content game anyways for streamers. They don't care whether the content is good or bad. They just want new content. Oh, something's new. There's something new on the streaming platform. That's all they care about at this point. So it doesn't need to be good or bad. They make money either way.
Now, this was made a couple years ago. This is probably the last. If they are making the U-turn that we expect them to make, this is the last of their slop. And I think that they put it out because it's attached to Ryan Coogler. I always say that guy's name wrong. Who is very coveted right now in Hollywood.
Yeah, he got to win. Any black dude that's doing well as a director is gonna do well. That's what they want. They want that demographic. Right. And he's got a good movie in Sinners.
And he has a really cool style. So if you match his style with a cool screenplay, like, you got to win. Like, it's definitely a winning formula.
Just tell good stories.
This was not a good story. These are unlikable characters and it's a bad story. So even a good director couldn't save this.
And it's agenda driven.
So it's totally gonna flop. It's already flopped hard. I suspect it'll probably get the tax write-off treatment at some point too.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go to Super Chats before we go into the next streaming service thing.
Make sure you start with Chappie's first one, member for 10 months. Thank you so much, Chappie, for being a member for 10 months. And just so you guys know, we will be going to the member section after this, after the show's over, where we'll be talking directly to you and talking exactly about whatever you want to talk about. But Chappie, member for 10 months. Hurry up and pee, Brian. Let's get the party started, dude.
Thank you, Chappie. Appreciate
Thanks,
you, man.
Chappie.
And then we got John Yulden. Have a great show, guys. If you haven't already, check out the Superman documentaries. They are excellent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John.
I appreciate you, John. And we're going to be doing the Stargate watch along with John on John's channel tomorrow. So check that out. That's going to be fun. We're finally at season 2. So it's going to be getting good. It's going to be getting good.
Take this moment real quick. If you guys are Stargate fans, you're probably hearing like little rumors that Brad Wright is putting out like new info at some con. He doesn't go to cons, by the way, but he went to FedCon. It's second con he's ever been to. And were you planning to play something on this, Brian?
I can play what you sent me.
I mean, I guess it's worth it. Yeah, go ahead and play real quick.
All right. This is about Stargate. This is from Brad Wright, the producer, writer of Stargate.
Optimistic and hopeful. So I was wondering to what degree you're able to, I don't know, maybe convince Amazon, I suppose, to kind of keep that tone. And maybe as a follow-up question, what is like a non-negotiable element?
So just backstory really quick. This person, so earlier in this interview, Brad Wright said that there will be a Stargate series made eventually on Amazon. I will tell you that's exactly what Brad told us a couple of years ago when we first started talking about this, and we have several videos out there if you want to know exactly what's going on with Stargate. But as far as this is concerned, this person is asking like what he thinks will come from a new Stargate series, and will it have that hopeful vibe that the original Stargate had? And we missed that at the beginning. So go ahead.
Yeah, I find it funny. Like, well, I'll tell you guys at the end of this.
To the vibe of Stargate and Stargate SG-1 in particular that you'd like to see to continue in that new show?
Okay, these are smart people. They know that they don't want to piss off the people who love the existing franchise.
I'm going to pause it real quick because, like, maybe they are smart people, but maybe they also don't really care about the old audience.
Well, they care that we show up to watch it, but they don't truly care. They care that we pay for it, but they don't care if we like it. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
This makes me think like this answer is more like a political thing. Like,
no, it's truly how Brad feels.
Oh,
I think
really?
I think, yeah, because I've talked with him several times, and the thing that he really believes is that somebody's going to give him another gig here pretty soon. He doesn't want to say anything too harsh, but
right.
The reality is that he believes that they will try to bring us in, but they will ultimately fail because no one has succeeded to hold the old audience while trying to bring in the new. Perhaps Terry Matalas did it with Picard season 3.
He got the closest.
Perhaps.
Yeah,
he's the closest, but no one else has successfully been able to bring in the old fans with the new. It's just doesn't seem to be possible these days.
Yeah.
But they just spent a ton of money on.
I hope so.
And they learned a lesson from another show recently that I won't mention.
I'm surprised he says this.
That they should stick to what the fans already love a little bit. I don't know.
Ooh.
I have not had these conversations, but I'm pretty confident that.
That's by the way, if you guys didn't catch that,
he's had conversations with Terry. Terry's told us that.
Yeah, but by the way, if I'm surprised Brad said it. This is not something, and of course he's talking about Rings of Power. Here he's giving a little bit of a blunt, and listen, Brad, feel free to come out and shit on those guys all you want because Amazon has already turned down your script, bro.
Yeah, they did.
You might as well just come out and burn them because they are not going to move forward with him.
Although I'll tell you, if they ever actually do hire Brad Wright for new Stargate, I think that we should take a little bit of credit because we're the ones that told Brad that exactly what that dude told us about why they denied his script.
Well, that's what got him to get more active into it. So, I mean, I think at least I don't think Brad will ever be a writer, but I think he might be a producer on a new Stargate show. I think he'd like to get paid, and to be like a somebody who gives ideas that they probably won't take. But
right.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get paid.
Yeah, so would I.
Audience, while not alienating the old audience. As far as what's non-negotiable for me personally, I've never said this to anybody, but I think what makes Stargate unique, and certainly separate from other famous franchises with the word star in them, is that it's us. It's people from the here and now going out into space. That's what makes Stargate unique. It's us. It's people from our current Earth. And
yeah, he's talking about modern time versus.
Yeah, I'm surprised he said he's never said that before. I mean, I guess he's never said it in public like this. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not in public, but he has said
that's something he said before.
I've heard that on. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, is there anything more to that?
No, there's no new news. I guess what I'm saying is when you're out there looking for new news on Stargate, there is no news. It's exactly the same news. Brad thinks that there will be a series someday, and that's the same thing he said 2 years ago. So if you do want an update on, if you like Stargate and you want to know, we'll put a link to a video that'll help you with that.
Right. Thank you, Shane. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
From Chappie for $10. Thank you, Chappie. It says not
Thanks,
to
Chappie.
get not to get weird, but I just got done in the yard, so I'll be listening in the shower. Be thinking of you guys. Like Bortus in the environmental simulator.
Dude, I don't care what anybody says. That's the best episode of the Orville.
That scene was so funny. Oh my God. That's the one, same one. Yeah. That and the smoking one was so funny.
Soap up well, Chappie. Thank you.
Soap it up, brother. All right. From Canada Road. Oh, we already read that one. This is from Drew D. For member for 9 months. Thank you, Drew. He says, but does her AI have a psychologist? No, definitely not. And the AI is like speaking in like Ebonics, and it's like, "What's up, bish?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is so horrible."
Hey, here's the note, Drew. She is the psychologist.
Yeah, she is. She is. Okay, let's talk a little bit about F1, my dude.
Oh, John Yolden gave us one more.
Oh, I missed it. Oh yeah, thank you, John. Sounds like we started the Stargate watch along at the perfect time. Then, I mean, who knows? Yeah, I mean, imagine how great it would be if like we ended our watch along as a new series was happening. Wow, sign me up. But I don't know how it's gonna be a long time for us to get the new series. We have a little bit of an inside track on that, and it's gonna be a long time, guys.
Amazon's got just too much stuff they're enjoying doing right now. They got too many irons in the fire, and they're just. I think they feel like Stargate is going to be a lose. The way they want to do Stargate is going to lose us old fans. I think they know it. I think they've learned through like Rings of Power and some of the stuff that the way that they got to go forward with this, bringing in new audiences, is ultimately going to like kind of either be a zero balance, a zero gain win for them. So they're going to wait until enough of us die off so that they can start over again and figure out a way to get into it that way.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, wait for us to die off. That's a winning strategy.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about F1, bro, with Brad Pitt and Javier Bardem and other people.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I was excited about this movie. I like racing movies. Let me tell you, I hate watching racing. I think it's the most boring thing you can possibly watch, next to maybe. I actually kind of like watching golf a little bit, but racing is boring. Watching them go around and around a track, just there's nothing in it for me. So
turn left. Especially
NASCAR. I mean, I see why F1 might be more exciting, but it's just not. But movies make racing very exciting because they hone in on the good stuff. You know, what's the best part in races, right? When you're actually watching a race, the best part is the crashes and the finishes, right? And that's mostly what you get in racing movies. And then you get a good story. So I'm a huge fan of racing movies, and I really wanted to see F1 because, listen, I'm a big Brad Pitt fan. I like Brad Pitt movies. Okay, just like I like Tom Cruise movies, like Brad Pitt movies. And so after watching F1 and going to see it, what I'll tell you is that it's a solid movie. It's enjoyable. I enjoyed watching it. There's really great the action is really good. They got all these cameras set up in the cars and really cool angles, and they really worked hard. It's a Jerry Bruckheimer film, so if you're a fan of Top Gun and his movies, it's kind of got that feeling. The only problem is the story is very light. Brad Pitt, good acting, but not great acting. The new kid that played it was good, solid, but it was just kind of I would give it maybe a C+ in acting, and then maybe a B+ for the action. But what it made me do is I've been doing this kick thing lately where I'm doing my favorite race movies, right? And I know Brian popped it up on the screen there for a second. And what I realized from this, there are a lot more racing movies I've never seen.
Yeah, you know what? There's movies you've seen on here that you didn't list. Why is that?
They're not.
Fast and Furious.
Fuck no, Fast and Furious is not a racing movie.
Too Fast.
Let me tell you something.
Too Furious.
No,
The
if it's
Fast
not,
and the Furious. Furious. Fast.
No.
Fast.
No, they're not
and
actually
Furious.
racing, bro.
Fast.
They're
X.
fighting crime. No, they're fighting crime. It's closer to James Bond than it is to a fucking racing movie. Okay.
Tokyo Drift. That was a race movie.
No,
they
it wasn't.
raced and they dripped
He
around a
raced
mountain.
people, but mostly he was getting shot at and shit, bro. I'm just saying. So look, listen. I knew you were gonna say this about Fast. I knew you were gonna say it. I hate Fast and Furious so much. Anyways,
Need for Speed, by the way, shouldn't be on that list. That's not a race movie.
Who?
Need for Speed is basically Fast and Furious.
I haven't
Light.
seen it. No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, I see.
So I wasn't even sure. Like these are the ones that they have listed. And by the way, they did have. If you look on like IMDb, like Fast and Furious is listed as a race movie. I'm like, shut up. It's not.
I mean, there's races in it.
Well, cool. Yeah, you got to like okay. So you do one drag race. Is that a racing? No, it's not a racing movie. Anyways, so if you take a look here, I've got my top 11. Apparently, I've only seen 11 racing movies. I got a lot more I got to watch, and I'll eventually fill them out. But Days of Thunder is still my number one. If I'm going to slide F1 in there, it's actually like it was enjoyable. Like I said, all 11 of these movies on here that I've seen, I like them. I enjoy them. I will watch them again. But you know, as far as great movies go, you got Days of Thunder, Ford versus Ferrari, and Talladega Nights are my top 3. And then I would slide F1 right underneath Cannonball Run. And if you've never seen Cannonball Run, you should watch it. Great Burt Reynolds movie.
What about that Nicolas Cage race movie?
It's not. It's him stealing cars. It's not a race movie.
Oh.
A good movie though. I enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
what's
it
called?
I just drew a blank. It's
someone in the chat. Tell us what it's called.
No, what is it? No, I can't remember. But you're right. It's good. Was F1 better or worse than Gran Turismo? Boom. If you see the list, Matthew McGee, thank you for your $5, sir. F1 was slightly better than Gran Turismo.
I like Gran Turismo. That's the video game one, right?
Yeah.
I like the one.
I didn't like it that much. It was okay.
I liked it.
F1 I thought was a little better. A little better story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I'm not a big race I'm not a big race or sports movie guy. So I got no thoughts on this other than
you should be able to appreciate though the drama. You know, you should be able to appreciate let me ask you a question. Do you not watch them? Like, have you not watched these movies?
I mean, I've seen what have I seen on this list? I've seen from bottom to top. I've seen Speed Racer, Drive, Baby Driver, Death Race, Grand Prix, Need for Speed, Race for Glory, Rush, Logan Lucky.
How about the ones I've
Gran
seen?
Turismo, Cannonball Run, Ferrari, Talladega Nights, Ford versus Ferrari, and Days of Thunder.
So
I've
you've
seen most of these
Days
movies.
of Thunder. So you've seen Days of Thunder and you didn't
Yeah, not a big fan.
Care about it?
No.
Wow.
Whatever.
Robert Duvall gives one of the great performances.
Sure, it's great. Yeah, it wasn't for me.
All right, more explosions. Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean Talladega Nights is funny, but I didn't watch it because it's a race movie.
Well, I mean, it is a funny race movie. Like, it's not a serious. Like, if you added serious race movies, you obviously couldn't have it. But Talladega Nights has tons of racing in it.
Yeah, sure. Shake and bake. Yeah, the funniest part of that movie was the fucking cougar in the car, bro.
Oh, yeah, that was the best. That was awesome. His dad locked.
That was the absolute funniest part of that movie was when his dad put the cougar in the car. If you can race with a cougar in the car. You can race any.
That was so great.
Hands down. Like I remember watching that and I missed like the next 10 minutes of the movie because I just kept laughing. I just kept laughing about that moment.
It was so funny. Hey, guys, thank you. Gone in 60 Seconds was the Nick Cage movie with Angelina Jolie. Thank you, Hegath.
Yeah. All right, you guys want to see the cougar in the car real quick?
Please play that scene. I love that scene. It's awesome.
Basically, what happened to you is that you saw the fear. So before you can even think about any real driving, you got to make friends with that fear. So, get in the car.
It's a goddamn cougar in the car!
Oh, there's a cougar in the car. I put it in there. You got to learn to drive with the fear. And there ain't nothing more goddamn frightening than driving with a live cougar in the car.
Oh, my wife refuses to watch this movie, and she just thinks it's so stupid. I mean, when they're doing the baby Jesus at the dinner table,
there's a goddamn cougar in the car.
It just kills me, man. I love it.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, when he does the driving test, the cougar roaring in the background. Yes. I can't show you guys the whole thing because the stream will get shut down. So
yeah.
All right. Let's move on. I do have some light news before we go into the more hardcore news. I did want to quickly talk about this because it hits both. It talks about things that we all love and that we are currently engrossed in. YouTube and In-N-Out. So this happened recently. I'll share this tab. In-N-Out Burger sues YouTuber after prank video filmed at Valencia location. So if you're not from the West Coast, you don't know what In-N-Out is. Let me tell you what In-N-Out is. In-N-Out is a very popular burger joint. More importantly, it's a rare fast food restaurant in that it's not owned by a corporation. It's still owned by the family that owns it, and they have like now 100+ locations, and they do something very unique. Their food is all fresh, never frozen. Everything is from local places, and most people will tell you it's generally accepted as being probably the best fast food burger you can get. And they what's that?
Second best for me, but
well, second, yeah. Generally, as I said, generally,
Five Guys is my go-to.
Sure. Generally speaking, it's known as probably the best. It's also Five Guys doesn't have a damn drive-through, so I would never go to Five Guys over In-N-Out.
Five Guys has two bad things going for it. There's no drive-through, and it costs twice as much.
It's incredibly expensive. Yeah. Anyways, so this place is known for a couple things. A, the quality of its food, the taste of its food, but then also how much they pay their employees.
Yes.
They pay their employees very well. And when you pay your employees well, you usually get a great service. And so their place is known for being clean, fast, affordable. It's just a what's that?
Not fast. I wait 45 minutes to an hour every time I go to In-N-Out.
Well, I mean, are you in one of those lines across the block ones?
It's the every In-N-Out ever. That's all there is.
Yeah, because there's lines everywhere. Yeah, I mean, yes.
Because everybody wants to go to it.
When I say fast, like they're going fast in comparison to other restaurants, but there's like 78 cars waiting for their food.
Every time.
Yes, every time. You guys, In-N-Out is very much always busy. They're always packed. It's sort of crazy.
And they have a very small menu.
Yes.
So it's like really you're getting like burgers. You might be able to get a grilled cheese sandwich. I think you can also
and
get.
It's basically just a version of the burger. It's like the cheeseburger, no meat. Yeah.
Burger. I mean, that's simple menu.
It's basic. And yes, Chappie's right. Five Guys is 5 times expensive. You're right.
So expensive.
I can get an entire combo that takes care of me in and out for like $11. That's sort of incredible. Anyways, this place is known for being clean, fast, delicious, high quality. It is a dollars for dollars. It is a bang for your buck kind of location. Well, this place in Santa Clarita, this In-N-Out in Santa Clarita was closed down for some reason, right? And a YouTuber.
Which is weird. They should never be closed down anywhere.
Yeah, for some reason it was closed down in Valencia. I think it was closed for the holidays. That's another thing too. In-N-Out is like they close for holidays because their employees get holidays off. It's sort of incredible.
Treat your employees good. Oh my God, Costco, In-N-Out, good job, guys.
Yeah, they pay their employees really well and they give them holidays off. And then you wonder why their drive-through and their physical locations are always balls to the walls packed. Like because everyone's getting great quality service food and prices. Like
at a good price.
At a great price. Yeah, it's a killer.
This is not an In-N-Out ad, by the way.
It's not, but like if you're ever out in California, like go to In-N-Out, dude. Like you're gonna be so impressed. Well, what's not impressive is that this YouTuber went to this Valencia location that was closed, and he basically Here's, according to the complaint, Arnett, the YouTuber, filmed himself in multiple In-N-Out locations making false claims about contaminated food, making improper comments to customers while wearing counterfeit uniforms. So he put on a fake uniform.
He pretended to be an In-N-Out employee.
Yes. And he at one of the jokes was that he told a customer, do you like to watch? Like, do you like to watch? The guy's like, what? He goes, I like to watch my wife being taken aggressively by other men. Would you be interested in that?
Jesus.
And just making a bunch of jokes. Here's what you don't do. In-N-Out treats their customers really well. They treat their employees really well. They have quality food. They're family ran, all that stuff. But they also do not F around. And when you mess with their brand, they come at you with fire and brimstone. And this guy is being sued out of existence. His bloodline is about to be eliminated in real time. Like it is so aggressive.
Your dead grandparents.
Right. It's so aggressive how much they're coming after YouTubers that it's making news where YouTube is like, we might have to change our terms of service. Because they're afraid of In-N-Out coming after them next.
You let this shit get uploaded? Well, right. I mean, think about it here. And listen, if you're planning to become a new YouTuber, if like your thing is like, you know what, I think I'm going to try this YouTube thing out. I'm sorry, it's closed. There's like nothing new left to do. The reason why this guy's doing this is because there's already 150,000 people. Like, I ate at McDonald's every hour for 24 hours. I ate at every fast food place across the country. There's like nothing else left to do. So they're coming up with new ways to get people to watch videos. And
they're not holding back. Like, this is what the chief legal officer at In-N-Out said. Recently, we have seen an increase in number of media personalities who have chosen to play pranks or practical jokes that are designed to embarrass, humiliate, or upset our customers, their families, and our associates. These individuals who engage in this behavior, including deception, trespass, lewdness, or any other action that have been posted on social media for their personal and monetary gain at the expense of our customers and In-N-Out, we are putting all such individuals on notice. We will aggressively pursue every and all legal rights against any and all of these individuals.
Dude, is this Scientology or what? I mean,
bro, TikTok preemptively banned people before In-N-Out even got to them. TikTok was so afraid of In-N-Out that TikTok scrubbed their platform and found people that fell under these categories and took them out before In-N-Out can find them.
So you don't want to have In-N-Out as a keyword in your video.
Right. Yeah, In-N-Out is going nowhere near this video. I tell you right now. We love you, In-N-Out.
Oh, that's great. Well, I mean, and I love seeing companies that do well. I I root for In-N-Out. I root for Costco because they're doing what American corporations should do. You know, be successful by paying your employees well. You know, so you don't have a lot of turnover, right? People who are good at what they do have a good product. I mean, I love this kind of stuff. Like, you know, now if you were down there, you know, jacking up, I don't know, who do I not give a shit about? Burger King or whatever. Go ahead and fuck with Burger King all you want, you know?
Well, the thing is, you can't really mess with Burger King's appearance because it's already sort of garbage. Like you go to a Burger King, and you're like, look at the cockroaches. Everyone's like, yeah, we fucking know.
Well, you know what's the other cool thing about In-N-Out? Like, they actually hire young people at In-N-Out. Like, go to McDonald's or any other place, other fast food place, and you got like 40-year-old, at least in Southern California, you like 40-year-old people who don't speak English,
right,
at these places. And In-N-Out hires young American kids of all races and genders and everything, and it just has a good feel about it. I don't know what to say. But
no, and it's pristine, it's clean, everyone's respectful, the food is good, it's affordable. It's just a great place. A friend of mine actually got a job there at like 18 years old, like fresh out of high school. She got a job in and out, and dude, she was making great money. She ended up working there for 2 years while going to school, and they actually gave her. They worked around her school schedule. Like when you work in and out, like you become like it's a team effort. How can we help you succeed in and out of this business? And so you want to stay.
I see what you did there. In and out of this business. Nice.
Right. So they wanted to stay. She got offered a job at the private school my kids go to, and she turned it down because, well, A, they weren't going to pay as much, and her schedule wasn't going to be as flexible as she had in and out. So she actually saw In and Out as a fast food restaurant as more valuable to her than working as a TA at a school, and she was going to school to be a teacher.
Wow.
Wild.
Yeah. Oh, guys, also tip for you. And since we're talking about In and Out and a little bit of Costco here, if you are looking to save money on your eating, on your food, if you don't have a Costco membership, go get one.
Yeah, I got one.
One. Okay. Because
get the
I
cheapest
fed my
one.
Family, I fed my family the other day, family of 4, $6. $6 to feed a family of 4. We got 4 of their giant hot dogs, 4 sodas. Everybody was happy. $6. Just do it.
Yeah, someone said In-N-Out's great, but their fries suck. Yeah, you know what's funny is I agree with you, and then I realize why I think their fries suck. It's because they're fresh.
They're cut right there. Yeah,
like guys,
right.
We don't like their fries because they cut them in front of you and fry them fresh from real potatoes. And we are so used to these frozen monstrosities from McDonald's.
We're the problem.
That our taste buds have now become more interested in the frozen fake French fries from other fast food places. When you're pulling up and you see the fries being cut out of potatoes, you're like, that should be great. But then I'm like, I don't like this. Like, where's all the trans fats and incredible amounts of salt and oil? I don't want to taste potato. I want to taste salt and oil, please. Oh my God. All right.
Arby's is where the fries are, by the way.
Arby's is expensive though, bro.
And they got tater tots, dude.
Like I'm at this point with Arby's where I'm like I can always go for an Arby's sandwich, but like, dude, I better have like $18 just for myself.
It is expensive.
Because I go to, you're right, man. Dude, at Costco, they're willing to lose money on food just to make that a selling a point for you going there to shop.
Yeah, that's as it should be.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like the food, their pizza is actually good and it's super cheap. It's super affordable.
Yep.
All right. All right, guys.
I'm hungry all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on.
We're going to talk about SCOTUS. Shane, can you please tell the audience what does SCOTUS stand for?
Supreme Court of the United States of America. So just transitioning into, we did a lot of like entertainment focused news there.
We did.
It was great. It's a good feeling. It's been a while.
That's why I wanted In and Out as like a transitionary story.
I guess so. If you guys have noticed, Trump's had a pretty good week. Trump has had a pretty good week. Lots of wins for good old Trump there. The month before that, he felt like he was a little bit on the ropes. The media was getting to him. A lot of the stories were getting to him, but he had a big week. We had Iran nuke. We don't really know if they've lost their nuclear program. Some people say yes, some people say no, but at least we know we've done what we can do to slow down their nuclear program if it indeed existed. So that was good news. We also got a deal with China done. Some more good news for Trump. So now we have an actual trade deal with China, although now we're not dealing with Canada. Did you guys know that Canada, and Ken, I don't know if you've heard this or not, or anybody who's in Canada that watches, apparently Canada is now putting a tax on all of our technology companies. So they're going to put a digital tax on like Apple and Meta and all these different things. Yeah, they're putting like a digital tax on them. And so Trump has said, you know what, Canada, we'll let you know what you're going to be paying in tariffs here coming soon. Right. So that deal's off the table. But one of the other big wins for Trump this week was the Supreme Court finally ruled on this whole, what had been happening is a lot of the lower federal courts were putting injunctions on what Trump had basically written executive orders on. And one of those things was being able to, deport people, a lot of different things that he wanted to do, but specifically, they wouldn't be able to do in large groups. So they said, we're going to put a stop to this. And they finally said, look, Trump is not, they didn't rule on whether or not we can, illegally move people out of the country or not. But one of the big things is if you have a child in the United States, is that child a citizen, right? Under the 14th Amendment, that is the case. But what was happening is the lower courts were basically doing nationwide injunctions, and the Supreme Court came out this week and said, nope, you guys can't basically stop the president of the United States from implementing an executive order just because you, one little judge, think that that's the correct thing to do. So
thank God, bro.
Amy Coney Barrett put out a thing basically saying, she actually did the paper that describes it, and basically said, nope, if you guys want to do this, you have to do it for the individual case that occurs. So let's say you have a child that was born here, you're being deported, and you want to fight for that child and their family, then you can actually, the judge can rule for that person, and that sets a precedent, which then would end up going back up to the Supreme Court. So they're trying to keep the lower courts from being more powerful than Congress or the president, right? There's three equal branches of government: the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. What these lower courts were doing was basically giving the judicial branch more power than the other three when they're supposed to be equal. So this is actually going to put them back in their corner. One of the things the hot topic that they did not talk about, though, was the fact that anchor babies. So you've heard the term anchor baby. Like if an illegal immigrant comes here and has a child, that child is an American citizen. And a lot of people believe that having that child is going to let you stay in this country. Now, what most people don't realize is that's not true, right? Now that your child is an American citizen, but you can still be deported. And so they were using that as a way to attack people and say, oh, you're separating families because their child is a citizen. You can't send the parents out now that the child's a citizen. Okay. Well, that's not the way our laws work. So what Trump was trying to say is, well, you can't, there's no birthright. We did that for the slaves. Like when the slaves came here and we were fighting that, the 14th Amendment was brought in so that, and it was challenged, basically saying that they couldn't be, descendants of slaves couldn't be citizens. But the reality is that the 14th Amendment protects that. So now they're trying to use that to protect these people. The problem is that Trump wants people that are come here to not be a citizen when they're born here. So that's kind of the fight. And the court didn't rule on that specifically. So that is still pending, probably come through in October. So that was kind of the big one that was ruled on. You got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. I wanted to show, oh my God, I just lost myself. I'm sorry. I wanted to show this. Oh, it's my bad, guys. I wanted to show this. I love this image so much. Trump's immigration plan, anchor baby.
Yeah, and as somebody said, the term anchor baby sounds morbid. It is a weird sounding. I mean, it's very accurate with the way people think about it being. They're like, well, if my kid's a citizen, they're not going to deport us, right? Yeah, they still can.
Yeah, and well, because you know why? Because it became a strategy, Shane. It became a strategy to come in here on a work visa, student visa, vacation visa, some kind of cheap, free way to get into the country. Have a child here. That child is now a citizen of the country, and now you get to be here without and completely skip the line. Essentially.
Well, but just so you know, the rule is that your child has to be 21 years old before they can try to get their parents in as citizens. So, the rule is there is absolutely no rule whatsoever. That child has no power till it's 21 to do anything for the parents. But the Trump administration is facing a lot of lashbacks, a lot of attacks on separating families. And look, Trump saying, look, no, you got to take the kid with you, but people are saying, well, they're a citizen, blah, blah, blah. So it's a political battle,
right?
I would say, even if you're a citizen, if your baby's a citizen, take them back. your baby can still be a citizen of our country, of this country, and when they're 21, then bring them back and they're a citizen and they help you get citizenship, maybe.
Yeah, essentially what Drew said was correct. They used to choose not to deport the parents, even though they could, out of humanity, but it was then abused over and over and over again. All right, so enough of that. Another thing in the SCOTUS news, though, is parents of kids. I'm sorry, what, Jane?
Big week for SCOTUS.
Yep. Parents can opt. By the way, did you see the title of today's stream?
I did, yeah.
Come on, bro.
I did. Woke slop
and supreme stops. I'm very proud.
Oh, is that what it was? Supreme stops.
Yeah, woke slop and supreme stops.
All right.
Anyways, I'm very proud of that title.
Clever.
Parents can now opt kids out of classes with LGBTQ book characters. All right, so I have a couple questions on this.
Yeah, there's some interesting thoughts here.
I have a couple questions on this. Why do children's books have LGBTQ characters in the first place? Why is there sexuality being featured in children's books?
Well, you know why? Because people have.
I'm not asking about the agenda answer. Give me an actual logical reason why you think that'd be okay.
Because you want to teach children that there are different kinds of people in the world. There you go.
Okay. So, I don't think sexuality of any kind should be in children's books.
Agreed.
Any kind. And anything that confuses young brains about gender identity and sexual preference should be nowhere near children's books. Nowhere. It actually frustrates me when I read this. It makes me angry that SCOTUS had to rule that a parent can opt their kids out of classes with LGBTQ characters and themes. Why would the Supreme Court have to rule that me as the parent have the option of making sure my kids are not confused or indoctrinated by LGBTQ characters and themes?
I'll tell you why. Because it is illegal for you to not have your children in school.
Okay, let's start there. Because that's freaking insane.
It's true. Legally, your children have to go to school.
So wait, so what you're telling me is legally they have to go to school, and then previous to this decision, legally the school can decide the curriculum regardless of your beliefs.
Correct.
Or your input. Okay.
If you didn't like it, you got to homeschool your kid.
Yeah.
That's it.
F off with that noise. I don't why is it that the government thinks that they are allowed to raise my kids for 8 or 9 hours a day? They force my kids into school. They force my wife to work. They force both parents to work just to survive. And they take over raising your kid for half the day, every day, and it's a legal requirement. And then when you complain about it, they say you can't complain about our curriculum. The fact that the Supreme Court had to say, wait a minute, parents should be allowed to opt their kids out of this nonsense. It's beyond me that at any point in history, we've allowed it to get this bad. Now, can I give you guys some quick history? And Shane, correct me if I'm wrong here.
Okay.
Rockefeller, back in during the third wave feminist days, really wanted to essentially double their workforce, and so they convinced a bunch of women that staying home and raising kids, all the moms out there, that wasn't feminist, and that was subjective. They were living in subjectivity, and that it was not empowering. And that in order to be empowered, you would leave your family and you'd go work at one of their factories or businesses. And so what happens is a lot of people bought that fake nonsense. And what they did was temporarily, families made more money. But then over years, they didn't give the normal amount of raises. They didn't increase the normal amount of inflationary wages. And they got to a point where essentially a single family was making the same as they were in the 50s, but now both parents were working. Generally speaking,
I wouldn't say they're making more, but life also costs more. There was a very
wages didn't increase the way they had before. When they doubled their workforce by getting women in the workforce, generally, they didn't increase the wages over time the way they had been increasing for 50 years prior.
Wage disparity did not occur until Reagan was president. So all the way until the 1980s, wages didn't disperse until that point in time. At that point, companies were getting richer at a rate that people were getting paid more stagnantly. So that did occur, but it didn't occur till the 80s. So when women entered the workforce because of World War II.
Right.
Okay. So World War II, our men went to fight, women had to go to work. Right. So that made sense. When the boys came home, a lot of the women stayed home, but that was a very short period of the 50s and 60s were really the only time that women tried to stay home, and still a lot of women worked. And when John Rockefeller did what he did, it was, he really was trying to, according to what most people say. Now, a lot of people say that he tricked women into going to work. But what he was really looking for was population control and family planning, because he was afraid that we wouldn't have enough humans. The same problem that Elon Musk is talking about today. Right. And he'll probably be, same problem's going to happen. They're going to be like, all Elon wanted was more workers, but the reality is when your birth rate drops, humanity is at risk. At least your way of life for the United States is at risk, or Japan, or wherever you're from. So they say that's what he was primarily doing. But the side effect was, yes, a lot of women were took to it and convinced to join the workforce.
Well, then also Rockefeller, surprisingly, also set up the school system, right? The national school system. He was a big proponent of that. He was a big lobbyist for pushing like this national district system for schools. There was a moment where a lot of neighborhoods didn't have. They had, remember schoolhouses back in the day. There wasn't.
He donated $1 million so the board could be erected. Yes,
right. Remember back in the day there were schoolhouses. There was a lot of neighborhoods where a schoolhouse was literally a house erected by the community and a teacher hired to raise the kids of that to teach the kids of that community.
Right.
Well, that went out the door the second the moment, not the second, but eventually when this national school system took over. Now, let's look at school real quick. Kids go to school around 8 a.m. They get a 15-minute recess about a quarter of the way through the day. Then they get a 30-minute lunch about halfway through the day. Then they get another 15-minute recess about 3/4 of the day. And then they get their homework and they go home. And they rinse and repeat Monday through Friday. Shane, what does that sound like to you?
Well, it sounds worse than going to work because you got to go home and do homework.
Right. But doesn't that sound a lot like
a job?
A job. Like when you go to school, when you go to work at 8 or 9 to 5, whatever. Go to work, about a quarter of the way through, you get your 15-minute mandatory break.
It sounds like that.
Then you get your lunch break. Then you get your 15-minute break. And then you go home. Why is it that the school system and the way it operates is a lot like training the next generation of workers to be good worker bees, not to be scientists, not to be intelligent engineers, not to be the best and brightest, but to be good employees?
Well, that's a good way. You can say that, but there's no. It's really just an allegory.
I'm just saying it lines up pretty close.
Well, listen, you got to have breaks in between learning stuff, bro. Like you got to have breaks. The reason why people have breaks at work is because they need a break so they can go back and focus on what they were doing. So that's not like because of a job. And I don't think that John Rockefeller. Now he did found the General Education Board in 1903, and it was a charter from the U.S. Congress. But he didn't set up how it worked. That was done by other people.
No, but he was a big influence over it.
Well,
a big influence. He wanted to train the next generation of steel workers, dude. He didn't want people to compete with him. He wanted workers.
But why would you go through that effort and spend the money he did to send kids to school to be educated? Because you don't need to be educated to move steel.
Oh, for sure you do. You need to teach kids at a young age how to go to work, how to do your job, do as you're told, learn how to do this very specific task for this, this amount of time, and then go home, eat your dinner, and wake up and do it again every single day.
They've already been doing it for 40 years.
We don't need rebels. We don't need outliers. We don't need free thinkers. We need drones, dude.
I don't know if sending kids to school turns them into drones.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the most sinister version of this was selfishness. It wasn't. He didn't care about the next generation of kids. It was we needed families to have more kids and those kids to be good workers. Well, now you fast forward to 2025 or the 2020s. And that school system has now been weaponized by an agenda. The same school system that in my opinion, was already weaponized by corporate greed is now being weaponized by an agenda to now raise your kids for 8-9 hours a day while both parents are forced to work just to get by, and they get to teach your kids whatever they want. And until very recently, we had no say in it.
Well, just know it's 100%. Not until recently, by the way. We've never had a say on it. But just so you're aware, this is all conspiracy theory. Just you guys, everything Brian just said, it's not based in the actual fact. It's all just.
Well, but Rockefeller did set it up. Rockefeller is on record as saying we need the next generation of steel workers. We're running out of workers. Rockefeller is on record for saying that schools their primary motivation should be to teach kids how to work with society, not to be outliers. He didn't like outliers. He wanted drones. That's what he wanted.
Okay. But it's definitely not factual what you're saying. It's hypothetical. Right. He didn't say, I want drones. He didn't say those things.
Yeah, but okay. But the things he said implied that was the best thing for society was for the majority of people to be good workers.
You could read it that way. And why not have a good workforce? Think about it. Back at that time, very few people went to college. There were in the early at 1900, there was no point. There was very little reason to go to college. You know what colleges did? They taught the professors. Those are the people who became professors and taught the next wave, right? Until we started having some sort of science, some technology where people needed to go to school to learn. At the time when he was doing this, you needed a strong workforce because a good workforce was going to create a better economy, was going to create a better country. So listen, you know how many people graduated high school in the early 1900s? Very few people. All the way up until our father, he didn't even make it through his freshman year in high school, bro.
That's true.
So getting kids to complete something, right, and telling them when they were young, and I don't know if you heard this, but when I was a kid, what I heard was you can be anything you want to be. You want to be the president of the United States? Now, back when I was a kid, that was a cool thing to be the president of the United States. Nowadays,
that's not. Yeah.
Aim higher than that.
Yeah.
But so I hear what you're saying, and I see it's a very interesting conspiracy theory in my opinion.
Well, but there's more to it though, because if you add in the Marxist playbook, right, 1956 or 7, that playbook that literally said the best way to take over the West, and I have it here. I gave you a copy, the Soviet playbook. The best way to take over, or it's called Soviet warfare. Best way to take over the West is not with weapons, but it's with learning. Is to incorporate your agenda into schools. First higher learning, then mid, and then as far as elementary, and to teach your Marxist values in schools, and you indoctrinate the next generation to adopt your values. And people that criticize it, you call them, and it's in the book, Nazis. You call them pedophiles. You call them name is here, so that you discredit their criticisms of your agenda. That's in the book, and because you couldn't
True.
take over
There
the
was
West
a-
with guns, you can't take over the United States with guns. You have to use ideology.
No, it's true, but that's not why our school systems became what they did, not because of Karl Marx, not because of Marxism. The reason why the schools became what they did was they realized early on when we, especially in the 1960s, when racism was a huge problem, we realized that people were being taught in the homes, right? Parents were teaching their kids things like hate and racism and things like that more philosophically educated and intelligent people realized was not right. And so they slowly but surely started introducing these ideas in the schools. And it started with race, and it would eventually go into bullying. So race pretty much went through the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Then it would be bullying in the 90s and the 2000s. And now it's gone into
sexuality,
the LGBTQ movement. So
yeah, by the way, I've said it before. I'll say it again. We need to bring bullies back.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing is, and I don't know if anybody recalls this, you would have had to have children at that time in school. There was a huge push on anti-bullying.
Yeah.
Huge push in
Big
the
deal.
90s and 2000s.
No, I remember posters everywhere. It was a big,
huge.
I remember DARE, which was like an anti-drug organization. They would come to the school, and there was a point in my late teens where they weren't even talking about drugs anymore. They were just talking about bullying. Like when DARE is coming to your school and they're talking about anti-bullying, like, wait, what are you guys doing here? I thought you guys were the anti-weed people. Like, what?
Yeah. So it's really the mentality of, teachers unions, teachers, parent groups, the federal government's determination on what they want school systems to be like. And guess what? All those groups are going to be toward trying to make future adults better adults. Right. And in their minds, what you do is if you remove all racism, sexism, homophobia, if you remove all of that, bullying, remove all of that, what you end up with is a better human. But what you also end up with is someone who is not free to feel their own ideology.
Right.
And
so what you're saying is maybe some people had the right idea and they wanted to do the right thing by these kids, but maybe the agenda's gone too far.
It's just gone to the next thing.
And the pendulum's got to swing back the other way. Is that what you're saying?
Now they think, so it was race, then it was being mean to weak people, right? That's really weak children would get beat up by stronger children.
Remember that movie Nerds? Remember the Nerds?
Oh yeah, dude. It was my entire growing up. It was that way.
Yeah, I watched the other day. I watched what's that? Where the two guys go back to school. It's called 21 Jump Street.
Yep.
And these guys that went to school in the 90s, they had to go back to high school as adults for for this investigation, and they go in the 2000s.
Yeah.
And they think that it's cool to like be the jock and the bully, and it's the complete opposite. Where all these these nerds are basically in charge now, and everyone's like, "Bro, not cool. Are you homophobic? Why would you call him gay?" I'm like,
yeah. And what year was that?
It was like 2013. It wasn't even that far away from 1995, bro. It was like maybe 20 years tops.
So there was, and if you think about it, there was a problem. There was a huge problem in the 90s, especially of anti-gay rhetoric and behavior. There was a lot of people getting beat up because they were gay. There was a lot of I remember growing up and like, dude, you're gay. What's wrong with you? Right? Well, that was the mentality.
Gay was also like an adverb, right? It wasn't just referring to sexuality. Like they would say, dude, that's gay, or
but the reason why it was used as a put down was because being gay was bad.
Right.
So that's why it was created as an adverb.
You remember playing Smear the Queer when we were kids?
Oh yeah, exactly. Smear the Queer.
Well, queer it means strange or like odd one out. So it was supposed to be like the queer was supposed to be like if you were the queer, well, it had nothing to do with your sexuality. It had everything to do with you just happened to be it. You were the
one who was it. That's
why you were it that time, right? You were the queer, the strange, the odd one out.
So what happened is when people started calling people queers because they were the different, they weren't straight, they were gay, and there was a lot of there became the battle against hurting people because they're gay, and that's the right answer. Like we shouldn't have been hurting people.
Yes,
and
violence
treating
is
them
never the option.
badly because they were gay.
Right.
But it's just gotten to the point now where it's like, okay, well, and then once the LGBTQ community started, like, or let's say once the LGB community, let's start there.
LGB,
LGB, that's what they were.
Yeah.
Okay. Lesbians, gays, bis. You're both. Okay. So once that community was like, whoa, okay, now we're organized. There's a lot of us. And let me tell you something, being a little bit of both can make you powerful. I'm just saying,
right?
They're organized. They ain't got families holding them back, right? They don't have distractions. Let me tell you what, gay people are fucking motivated people, man. Let me tell you something. They ain't got shit. They ain't got kids to hold them back. They ain't got
no distractions.
They are fucking going for what they want to go for. And that's why they're so organized. I'm not kidding, man. That's why they're so organized. I've known lots of gay people, and they are very focused. And so what happened was you start building
they
this
built
momentum.
Grindr.
You add a T onto that thing.
Right.
You add a Q. You add some pluses.
I, an A, a plus, a minus, exclamation
They're building
point.
their army, bro.
Two spirit.
And we end up with where we're at now, which is basically trans / what would you call it when you don't know gender
identity.
Gender fluidness or whatever. Yeah, gender identity.
I don't know.
So we're in this whole.
I actually have no idea what IA plus 2 stands for. I have no idea.
I have no idea either. But let me tell you what's going to happen next, right? When those people are bullying all the jocks and the athletes, the next group to get taken care of.
Well, no. They're bullying the nerds now. So it went from like the nerds took over, and now the nerds are like, "Yo, why is there a queer Darth Vader, bro? What are you doing?" And now they're bullying the nerds. Like the nerds, at one point the nerds took over as like top of the hill, and now the LGBTQ plus they started to infiltrate pop culture to the point where they started messing with nerds' favorite characters. And before, nerds were pretty apathetic to this. They're like, we just like to enjoy our fandoms. Like, shut up, we don't care. But now they're like, yo, what are you doing? Why are you what? You know. All of a sudden, Doctor Who is a flaming homosexual, and they're like, "What? How did we get here? Like, what just happened?"
Yeah, I think we're actually in the time of the straight woman right now. I think that's the time we're in. We're trying to protect the straight woman. This trans thing's gone too far into like sports and different, bathrooms and a bunch of stuff. And so I think now the next protected group is straight women who are finding their voice. And unfortunately, that's having an issue with like people getting married and having kids, because some women are like, I don't want to do that. So, our society's evolving and changing at all times. And thank you. Well, I guess we got way off of this story, but essentially, SCOTUS said that parents are now allowed to and it's a religious preference. So you just say like, look, you're reading this book called, My Friend Liz, maybe, I don't know. And then I don't want my kid reading that book, so we're not going to go to school right now. And let me know when the book's done, and we'll come back. I guess that's what's happening.
Right. What drives me nuts about this is they blame religious families. They go, well, this is for religious freedoms and religious families. And I'm religious, but not all people that want their kid, that don't want their kids exposed to sexuality and confusing gender ideology are religious. In fact, a lot of the people that I speak to that would be called conservative today weren't called conservative 15 years ago. They probably would have called themselves progressive, but they still don't want their kids being taught confusing gender ideology and any form of sexuality. And now they're solidly in the conservative camp. There's a reason why conservatives are such a strong group right now. It's because it's made up of all the other people that have been removed or displaced from how far the left has gone toward this gender ideology.
Well, and also note that as people get older, they move further right. So people, when they're young, tend to start left. They move right. What's happening? We now have more old people in our country than we have young people.
That's true.
So you're going to have more. They're just not vocal. There's actually more conservatives in this country than there are. There are more people on the right than on the left, but most people on the right aren't going to say shit. But they're there, and there's more of them. So
Yeah, you know who J.K. Rowling is, right?
Yeah, Harry Potter.
So J.K. Rowling was like for a long time, a very famous left-wing feminist.
Yeah.
Well, now you talk to people now on social media and they call her a right-wing conservative. All because her stance has never changed on feminism. She aims to protect women. She spent an insane amount of money creating women's centers for women. And she disallowed trans women to visit these centers. She's been very vocal about how trans people should not be in women's sports, and they should be nowhere near women activities or taking away from women. And because of her stance on feminism, which has not changed since the 90s, she's now actively described as a right-wing conservative, when her views are not remotely right-wing conservative, except for that one thing where she wants women's rights to be protected and she doesn't consider trans women to be women.
Hence the move towards protecting straight women, like I think is, or even gay women, perhaps. I don't know. She's on the whole trans thing, but she just supports women's rights.
Yeah, and her stance has never changed. She is a staunch feminist. She's been a feminist my entire life. All of her views, everything she writes is about feminism.
Well,
but she has refused to budge on this, and because the left essentially moved away from her, and now she's all of a sudden a conservative.
Well, it's also this too. If you're not 100% with me, then you are 100% against me.
Right.
Whereas when you're on the right, you can have 75% of the issues and still be friends.
Yes. The right is much more lenient on who they accept. They're like, we don't agree, but at least we agree that we can disagree. Sign up. I think freedom of speech is like the most important thing to every serious conservative or right wing, whatever you want to establish it as. And because of that, that means that you can really agree with it. As long as you agree on freedom of speech, like, you're probably good. Everything else you can argue about. Case in point, this chat right here from someone that we know. I'm not going to out the person. Where'd it go? I just saw it. Oh, this is from Michelle Sampson. Impressive how you two disagree and debate and still maintain brotherhood and friendship.
Must be in the blood.
It must be in the blood. Yeah, we actually disagree a lot, but we can also come to the same conclusions together based on information we both share with each other.
Yeah, Brian's further right than I am. That's all it is.
100%.
He's just further right than
I am. I am religious. I am more right wing. I believe in 1A and 2A and all those things. I do think there's an agenda. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, but to be fair, my conspiracy theories keep coming true, so it's not my fault if I keep getting pushed down that road.
Well, I'll tell you what. If we're a clock, like if politics is a clock, all right. So you got 1 to 12, right? Brian would be 3, I would be 5, and Ocasio-Cortez would be 11. How about that? And the guy that we're about to talk about, he's almost a 12.
Yeah.
Far left.
Yeah. I don't think I'm far right, though. You said I'm a 3.
I didn't. A 3. You're a 3.
Is that far right?
It's right in the middle.
How is this clock
from
here?
From 12 to 6 is one side. From 6 to 12 is the other.
Oh,
Let's think
see.
of a clock. Okay.
Yeah.
3 is right in the middle. 9 is in the middle of the other side. I'm a 5. You're a 3. This guy that we're about to talk about, that's not on the screen yet, but was going to be, he's like 11:59.
I see. Yeah. Drew says it best. Shane is more of an alien conspiracy theorist, and Brian's more of a government conspiracy theorist. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact,
Aliens are real, by the way.
I actually don't agree with a lot of right wing stuff, and I think a lot of these right wing influencers are straight up grifters. I've made it very known. I thoroughly dislike Laura Loomer. I think that she is a nut job. I think that she is a con artist. And I think that 90% of what she says, she doesn't believe. And she is just grifting off of conservatives. And you should not trust people like that. Same goes with Candace Owens. I think Candace Owens is a nut job.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah, she's crazy. That's a problem. Like, I don't like Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example.
I don't like MGT either. I think she's sort of nuts.
So she's too, whack right to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't like these grifters. People that are grifting off of the.
I think she believes. No, MJT, she believes, or MTJ, whatever. MGT. She believes what she's saying.
Maybe, I don't know.
But what I'm saying is like, I don't like her views. I guess I don't like her, the way she acts is my bigger problem.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
she's attention grabber. I don't like that kind of person.
I also don't like self-professed Christians that use every opportunity to virtue signal the way the left does, by the way. Every time someone says, does, looks any different than they want them to. Like when that libertarian chick that works with Tim Pool had that super innocent photo of her in a 1950s dress holding a pie, and someone's like, that's sexual. You are sexual. And they, all these right-wing nut jobs lost their minds. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, if you want to accept people into the 1A, 2A movement or like ideology, that is not how you do it, by losing your minds. Because Tim Pool said, my Lord. Like, Tim Pool literally said, my God, in reference to a tweet, and someone was like, don't take God's name in vain. I'm like, you guys need to chill the hell out. Like, you're too far onto this self-righteous nonsense that biblically they're basically Pharisees, the evil vipers, and they turn people away from common sense. And I think Shay and I, we don't always agree on everything, but we do agree on common sense being the most important thing. Common sense and freedom of speech.
Yeah, somebody said here it's all women that we mentioned. I mean, I guess if I was going to throw out, like, for example, Alex Jones to me is crazy.
I like Alex Jones.
I know you like him.
I think he's funny. I don't believe what he says, but I think it's funny.
To me, he doesn't.
Well, Russell Brand. I like Russell Brand. I think Russell Brand. I think it's great that he got his life clean. But like, I'm not going to look at Russell Brand and like really get information from him on geopolitics, because like he doesn't know about those things.
Who's the guy who helped Trump with this America First thing? Who was
Gates?
No,
I think Matthew Gates is a grifter, an insane person.
Matthew Gates, yeah, I don't like him much either. Yeah, he would be a good like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
He's a horrid person.
But who's the guy who was like part of Trump's first, but now he's not, and now he kind of talks shit about him sometimes, but yet he helped him kind of set it up. He's the older looking.
Bannon, Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon, he's just too much.
Steve Bannon's too far right for me.
Too much. So there's some examples of dudes that we don't dig.
Yeah, he goes a little too far. I think everyone at the Daily Wire is corporate bought and paid for. I've said that before. And I'm not saying that they're not intelligent people and that their views shouldn't be, taken seriously. But you have to look at everything they say and think, is this good for business or is it their actual opinion?
Well, that's of course the gray area that happens when you start making money. So
right.
You start to sacrifice your opinions.
And that's everyone. So speaking of which, Shane probably doesn't like this guy, but I gotta tell you, I haven't heard a whole lot. Every time he speaks, I'm like, yeah, sounds fine.
Well, that's why. Okay, that's interesting. So I can't wait to talk about this guy.
I don't have an issue with him. Like when they ask him, "Would you go to Israel?" He's like, "No, I'm going to stay here and work on the 5 boroughs." And I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah." You want to know why he's going to stay here? Work on well, number one, the dude is anti-Jew, 100%
for sure. I can see that. But you know what? If you're asking a bunch of mayor candidates on whether or not they would go to Israel. First off, why are you asking that question? They're mayors. What does Israel have to do with this topic?
He also said he's going to stop ICE from taking away illegal immigrants, but yet he has no power over the federal government. So, yeah. So go ahead and lead out who this guy is and all that good stuff.
So this guy is probably the next mayor of New York.
Probably, yeah.
Probably. He is very much left-wing Marxist. He was also a rapper. He's very anti-Jew, very
That's why
pro-Palestine.
you like him. He likes to rap.
No, I don't love. Let me clarify. I don't like this guy. I just don't dislike him.
Oh, interesting. You notice how he like yells into the microphone every time he talks? That's a strategy, by the way. His mom, who helped fund his campaign, actually worked in television, so she's got some skills. But this guy is Zoran Mamdani, 33-year-old assemblyman and Democratic socialist. And he actually just beat out former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who was running for the New York mayor. And Cuomo bowed out. Now this guy is going to be the Democratic guy. He's going to go against the black guy who's currently in office.
Oh, that guy's sort of nuts too. I'm always forgetting his name, but
they're all a little crazy.
He's
but
Mamdani.
The thing about Mamdani is that he is what you would call a left-wing populist, right? The reason why you don't see nothing wrong with what he's saying is because he's saying things that kind of fall into your category. Like, anybody who's poor isn't going to like hate this guy right off the bat.
Yeah.
But when you deeper into his policies, you find out he wants to bring Marxism/socialism/communism.
100%. That's all true.
Right. So he wants your government. He wants the government to run your grocery stores. He wants there to be the government to manage how much you can pay for rent for housing. He wants the government to run everything. And let me tell you one thing that I am anti. I am anti-government running everything.
Yeah.
Like the government should run a few things, maybe power companies, although that's questionable, maybe some utilities.
Maybe
like
utilities, but like not. Yeah, but the thing is like, you can give
fire department. Okay.
Give $2,000 a month to them to buy their own groceries, or you can allow them to go shopping at the grocery store. I feel like it's actually cheaper to just run the grocery store.
Well, what he's saying is he's going to make it the same for everybody. I mean, you remember bread lines from Russia, right?
Yep.
Well, during USSR, bread lines. Well, guess what? The government they decided how much food everybody was going to get.
That's true.
Bro.
Bernie Sanders is famous for being like, bread lines are good. Like, Bernie, you made a mistake when you said that, right?
He was on Rogan.
No, bread lines were good for people. They got food.
If you haven't seen it, you got to watch him on Rogan.
I'll watch it.
So this guy, he's just look. I'm not from New York, and New York doesn't really impact me. There's already he's Muslim as well. So there's a whole bunch of interesting things going on.
Yeah, and I think the Muslim ideology is super pervasive and sort of a dangerous ideology to allow to infect government, like it has in Canada and parts of the UK or most of the UK. I think it's dangerous to allow Islam a foothold in our government. I think it's literally dangerous because Sharia law is a dangerous thing.
Yeah, and what's interesting is a lot of the things he's talking about doing are things he could have done as an assemblyman, but he didn't do them. So we don't know how much of this is just I'm trying to get elected, how much of this he's serious about, but he's definitely grabbing the temperature of where he's of New York and the young population, and it's getting pretty good. Mayor Adams has a lot of he's got a big road ahead of him. He's going to have to find a way to bring this guy down because just like what you said, nothing he's saying is bugging me, right?
Yeah.
And you're 3 o'clock,
and I'm 3 o'clock. Right.
And you're 3 o'clock. So this guy's 11:59, and he's not bugging you, and so it'll be interesting to see. He might pull in a lot more voters than people realize.
I think he's probably going to win. Because the second I realized when I saw that first interview, I'm like, nothing he's saying bothers me. And in fact, half of what he's saying I agree with. Mayors should have no interest in other countries. They should be completely focused on their city.
Well, that's like a fucking softball answer. Like, no shit. Like Karen Bass wasn't in LA when the fires happened, and people were like, the fuck's the mayor doing in Africa?
Right.
Like, not on vacation, but like doing some sort of official function.
Yeah. Why are they in Africa? Why are they not in the city that they're supposed to be, running?
Yeah.
But also, like, I want buses to be safe and affordable or free for everyone. I'm like,
see, that's your poor person talking. I mean, I
no,
get
but it makes sense because right now it's so dangerous to take a train or transit in New York. It's literally dangerous.
But he's not going to make it safer because he thinks that there should be no police.
Oh, so yeah, that part doesn't make any sense.
So he wants to disassemble the police department.
Yeah, disband.
So
defund.
How do you think that's going to go over?
Yeah, that's retarded for sure. That's retarded.
How is it going to make? And this is part of the double talk. How is it going to be? How are subways going to be safer if there are no police?
Yeah, that's a really good point. What the interviewer should have asked was, "Hey, great idea, make them safer. What about how are you going to do that?"
So once the police are gone, who's going to do that exactly? And he's like, listen, I got this great plan. No problem. We're going to have a bunch of guys with armbands, and they're going to run around, and basically no guns will be allowed. By the way, that's the other thing. No guns in New York City, except the people who are stopping you from doing what you want to do.
Well, except for the criminals who refuse to give up their guns because they don't follow the law in the first place.
Sounds like communism to me.
That always drives me nuts. Like whenever he goes, we would be safer if there was no guns. I'm like, yeah, I guess if you could magically snap your fingers and everyone would no longer have access to firearms, perhaps you would be safer.
Right.
But then you would have to also add that list, knives and cars and any other way you can possibly kill someone, because a criminal is a criminal. They don't care about the rules or the laws, which is why they're a criminal in the first place. They're not going to give their guns up because all of a sudden it's illegal. That's not how it works. In fact, from their perspective, oh, sweet.
Yeah. Well, based on the comment section, great comment here. This is how Batman comes into existence. This is how we get Batman. Just have a city and lots of crime. There you go. Police can't do anything.
The subways need Batman. I agree with that. I like that. So apparently he's very soft on crime, very anti-police. Those are all bad things. And yeah, I'm poor, but I also care about people's rights to safety and freedom. And I think that the mayor of a city should completely focus on the city and nothing else. Yeah, in fact, I think maybe if you become a mayor, there should be a rule that for 10 years after your mayorship, you cannot run for other office.
Oh, they won't do it. It doesn't work like that.
Because everyone uses this as a stepping stone to a senator or a presidency.
It's a stepping stone to the state legislature, and then it's a stepping. Yeah, no, mayor is just a stepping stone. It's not. I mean, that rule wouldn't work. And let me ask you a question. This is not a problem. Like, them saying that makes you feel good, but that's the problem with the media. Like, they're asking you an obvious question that's not even a problem. Like, what other mayors besides Bass from LA, the one mayor that wasn't in her city when a disaster occurred, like, that's not the problem. The problem isn't the mayors not in their cities. You know what the problem is? The problem is the mayors are defending their cities and allowing illegal immigration to come in and destroy it, allowing crime to destroy their cities. That's what these mayors are doing. That's a problem.
That's true.
Right? So let's hear about how you're going to make sure that your city is safe, that people are getting a good wage, that people have affordable housing, all those things, without making it a government-run thing where the rich pay for, all of it, and then all the rich leave because they don't want to pay for it. And then you end up with a dystopian future. I'm just saying.
Where Batman is required.
There we go. Back to Batman.
You need Batman. I think we can probably solve all these problems if we just have Batman take over the city. Like Batman becomes the de facto crime boss.
Let me get Christian Bale on the line.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, this guy sounds like a massive socialist. Whenever I hear him, you're probably right. I'm probably being manipulated by the media for sure. I didn't look deep into it because I also really don't care. It doesn't really affect me. It does affect people that we know, though, like Anthony over here, Anthony Mark. He lives in New York. It's rough. Gonna be rough for him.
Well, and it could impact like the future wave. So if he succeeds, I promise you, other cities are going to attempt the same thing because it worked. That's how it works. So a lot of the bigger cities.
I mean, it cannot get worse than California.
California can get worse, bro.
How?
Let's put it this way. Let's say our situation is a 5 out of 10 on the destruction scale.
Really?
There could be more homeless. There could be more crime. There could be more problems. It can be worse here.
But there's it's already the most ever in history.
Please see Escape from L.A.
Okay. All right. Well, that's silly. It's not going to be
Escape from New York, which is where we're going.
Well, you know what's funny is it started with Escape from New York. So this guy brings in Escape from New York, and his policies get moved to L.A., and then we got to deal with Escape from L.A.
Hold on. What year was it? What year did that take place?
Uh-oh.
What year? Escape from LA.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, dude, sorry. It's 1997.
Woo. Thank God. Thank God before he surpassed it.
Let's find less.
I was going to say we need Snake Plissken to get in here.
2013 for Los Angeles. So, yeah.
All right. Wow, sorry. We've already passed it. All right. I don't know about, I mean, good luck, Anthony. Good luck, buddy.
Just keep moving up in the building, bro.
Yeah,
keep going up.
We're rooting for you. All right, let's fold on some fun news. Oh, the robo taxis things. We never got to cover those.
We didn't?
No, we took that day off. Remember?
Oh yeah. Okay, that's a fun one.
Yeah. So we got to show you guys the robo taxis.
If you haven't seen this is funny.
So robotaxis is an actual thing right now. I don't know if you guys know about it. So basically, it's
really growing.
What's that?
It's really growing. Like it's becoming very popular.
Oh yes,
it's going to be a thing.
And Tesla recently, I can't find that link. Can you give me that link again?
Oh God, I don't remember where it's at.
But Tesla recently showed off its first fully autonomous delivery using self-driving. So this is becoming a real popular thing where robo-taxis, completely devoid of any driver, is picking up people via an app and then dropping them off places, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what people have figured out was there's a way to mess with these robo taxis, and in during the protests, the Waymo robo taxis, that's the real popular one. The Waymo taxis were being basically set on fire.
I sent you a link, by the way.
Oh, thank you. They were basically being set on fire during these protests, and the reason they could do that is because when someone gets in front of the car, it stops. So the robo-taxis are driving on the street, and then the protester just gets in front of the car. The robo-taxi stops, and the protester proceeds to light it on fire, essentially. And no one can stop this thing from happening, right? Because these robo-taxis are not very smart. And I'm going to share with you another hack that is happening. But this video, Shane sent me, it's from San Francisco. It's a bunch of Waymo cars.
I love this.
This is so good, you guys. This was happening in San Francisco. And I want you to know, look up before I play it.
And Los Angeles, by the way.
And in Los Angeles, yeah. Up here, you see where my cursor? These are residential areas, okay?
Yeah.
So
all around.
These are all apartments all around, and this Waymore parking lot is in the middle of these apartments. So it's all residential apartments, and this is what's happening at all hours of the day.
For the past few weeks, Randall White has been dealing with a persistent and annoying problem right outside his San Francisco condo.
So I was like, where's that coming from? I looked down, and I was like, I think it's coming from the Waymo cars.
This parking lot full of driverless Waymo cars has had multiple incidents where suddenly the vehicles become confused and start honking all at each other. White says he heard it for the first time about 2 weeks ago after he was woken up around 4 a.m.
Then it happened again. and again. And I started thinking, well, this is an issue.
White isn't the only one who's had issues with the noises either. Several people who live in the buildings nearby the parking lot have also had similar complaints.
Over to Pat.
So, just to make us a longer story shorter, what's happening is they go to park at the end of the day. And what does a car program to do when it gets in front of another car it's in its way? It honks. So when it honks, though, this is what's crazy. The Waymo car honks. Well, the Waymo cars were also trained via AI to stop when they get honked at. So when it hears a honk, it stops because it thinks that a person driving a car is saying get the F out of the way.
Right.
So it honks because it's in its way, and the car that hears the honk stops, right? And then it honks because someone in front of it got in its way, and then it stops, and there's this cascading effect where all the cars are honking and none of them can move because they're confused and they have two prerogatives: to honk when something is in the way, and then to also stop when being honked at, which is two conflicting things. Well, furthermore,
I think in Star Trek, that's how they used to destroy the robots, by the way.
In Star Trek?
Yeah, that's how they destroy, AI.
Oh, yeah, by giving it a conflict. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so it's funny because in Westworld, the way they figure out that they're in a simulation is they get the AI to basically attempt to do a math problem that's not possible. And so all the AIs start disagreeing with each other until it's like cascade failure. So the thing is this, another way they're doing it is because they are designed to stop when they see, wait for it, orange cones.
That's right.
So the easiest way to get a Waymo car or a robotaxi to stop is when it's at the light, waiting for the light. All you have to do is drop a little orange cone on its hood, and it can no longer move because its entire field of vision is that orange color, essentially.
That's funny.
Well, here's what's really funny. We talked about this years ago, but it's only gotten worse. It's not, by the way, it's not gotten better. Is the people taking the Waymos are locked in for their own safety. So you call the Waymo on your app, it comes, and you get in, and then it proceeds to your destination. You're locked into this car because it doesn't want people being able to jump out and get hurt while under their care. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Now some teenager thinks it's funny to put a cone on your car. Now the Waymo is stopped, it cannot move, and you are locked in, and you can't get out. You've now been effectively taken hostage by a Waymo and a 13-year-old kid on an electronic scooter that's probably also a Waymo scooter. Dude, it's these robotaxis. I know they're the future, but until there is like an actual intelligence behind these things, or there are more people to run them, this is just going to become such a problem. People always complained about, well, what if they hit people and damage things? That's not really the issue. Because of all the safeguards, they can't do those things. But they can honk 24 hours a day outside of residential neighborhoods. They can hold people hostage. They can be used as fire bombs. It's a crazy. All these things are nuts. They need to hire more people that can actually run. Like, there should be like one person that runs like a dozen cars, and they can deal with. They can continually monitor those dozen cars. So you're still saving money. Instead of like one taxi driver per car, you got one guy per 12 cars. But you need to have someone monitoring these cars. Imagine being someone in that apartment, and for 20 hours straight, there's 27 cars honking outside your window. And there's nothing you can do about it.
That would, yeah. You got to call Google, but good luck on that too.
Good, yeah, dude. There's no getting a hold of Google. Everyone knows that, right?
We know that. You got to drive there.
Yeah, There's no getting a hold of some of these tech companies. They've designed their entire business to filter themselves from actual people.
Can never talk to anyone.
And now you're stuck in a locked car on the side of the road, and you are on hold with another machine trying to get through to customer support so you can get the hell out of the car.
Ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, it's insane, man.
I'm gonna keep taking Uber until something happens. I'm too afraid to get in those cars. I don't know. End up driving off into the water with the doors locked.
Monkey Jeebus says, "Oh, and the navigation system uses LiDAR, which is dangerous for your eyes." Yeah, it does scan really fast. It is dangerous if it hits you the wrong way, right?
Ooh,
LiDAR is actually a pretty cool tech. They used it to, if I remember correctly, to scan below the pyramids. They've used it to scan like the Amazonian jungle and find like ruins and stuff because it penetrates like the thick canopies and trees and sand and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good tech. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. I want to end on a fun note. I think the Robotoxic thing is really funny.
Yeah.
It's
the future, though.
I'm never getting in one. Not anytime soon, anyways.
You're not going to have a choice in the future if you ever take a taxi. It's going to get to a point where that's it. It's going to get to a point.
Robotaxis, that's it. Just you're in a Waymo.
Yeah, Uber is going to get into the getting into the robotaxi business, so that'll be the end of it. They won't need drivers anymore.
Oh wow. Yeah, but so did someone say something about people being actually in charge of these things? Because there needs to be like one person that manages a dozen of these cars or something.
I don't know about that.
If you're carrying people,
like customer service,
yeah, well, like they monitor the car, make sure it's not being, not going crazy, not honking, people aren't locked in, not being vandalized.
Oh yes, we are looking into where your car is. My name is John Williams. Yes, and I'm seeing right now you are on what street is this? Olive and
yeah. You're doing it wrong, right? Hello, my name is Jonathan. Like, hi, Jonathan. Yes, Jonathan Smith here. How can I help you? Jonathan, are you here? Like, yes, I am in Orange, California. It's like a completely different voice. Oh man, talking to some of these Indian call centers is hilarious because they all have like really American names. Like,
oh yeah, it's hilarious.
Hi, hello, my name is Kevin. And you're like, that's not your name. There's no way that's your name, bro.
You hear like chickens in the background.
Yeah, I was telling Salty Nerd guys about our first experience when we hit 100K on one of our other channels. Yeah. And we finally got our rep. We were so excited, you guys, to finally have a YouTube rep. Okay,
it's so cool. Like we can talk to YouTube.
Oh my God, we can finally talk to YouTube. We can talk to a person at YouTube that's gonna take care of us and understand our needs. And we finally go back and forth. We finally schedule this thing. We finally go back and forth until we finally get a call. And we get a call, and I swear it's like a small little lady that barely
what you just did. It's exactly what you just did.
Barely speaks English in the Philippines, and in the background there's like chickens and roosters. And she doesn't know anything about YouTube. She's using Google Translate just to talk to us, and it was the most disappointed I have been in decades.
You need to live stream more. You need to live stream. Do you know how much money you make from live stream? I'm like, doesn't Google make half the money from live? Yes.
She's like, let me help you set up your ads. I'm like,
ads are already set up.
We already have ads. I have 100,000 subs.
Okay, can I help you no more? Goodbye. Thank you.
And in the background, you hear chickens and roosters.
It's the way life is. It's the world, guys. That's it.
That's it. Machines have taken over, guys. We've lost. You didn't even know you were fighting a war, but you lost it. You lost it. And I want you to know, you should thank your lucky stars that there is a limitation on AI and that it will never actually take over because all the human knowledge in the world and all the power will never actually get it to AGI in the way that they can take over the way Terminator does. It's crazy because we keep seeing AI and we're seeing it take big strides forward. But for every stride forward, its next stride is cut in half, which means it's getting closer and closer and closer to you, but it's really never going to get to you.
Ooh, it's like a nuclear half-life. So it's like it cuts in half and half and half, but it never really goes away.
Because in order to get stronger, it needs more data, more power. And every time it gets stronger, it needs more data. Right? It's the same as like light speed. In order to get to light speed, you would have to break the laws of physics, right? You can't get there because the closer it gets, the farther away it gets, essentially. And that's AI. So learn to use AI because it is taken over. It's here. It's going to control. But it's never going to take over for your job. So you need to learn to use it as a tool because it's never going anywhere. They still need you, but you got to know how to use it.
Yep.
All right,
Very
guys.
true. Listen, we want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. I'm sorry we've been gone. Unfortunately, next Saturday, we're also going to be gone unless Brian's going to roll alone or with somebody else because I won't be here. But I have a feeling he's going to be working on something. We'll see. That said, we're getting ready to go to the members section. So we'd love to continue talking to you. I saw somebody earlier gave a free member. It was, yes, AOC Furry Patrol. Great name. Sent one to the BRANE Show members, and Kevin Essenberg got that membership. So hopefully Kevin and everybody else who's a member will show up, and we'll be talking to you for, probably the next hour or so.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, AOC will definitely be our next, the first female president. I think will be AOC.
I hope you're fucking wrong.
I don't think I am.
Just because you want to look at her every day does not mean she should be president.
No. I think she's cute, but I think that she is uniquely placed to be the first woman president.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Nothing you can do about it, bro.
That's me hoping, though. That's me hoping.
It's not your choice. All right, guys, we're going to the member section. It's pretty simple. If you want to become a member, hit the join button, bottom left. If you are already a member, then just stay right here. It will transfer you. It'll handshake you over to that page. If you do not get handshaked to the member section and you are a member or you want to watch the member stream and it doesn't take you there, please click the logo, go to our live and click on the first thing you see. It'll be the members video. We're going to go over there. We're going to hang out with you guys. We're going to talk. There you go. Yeah, look, Breaks says I was thinking about getting membership too. Did you read mine? I just read your mind. And Kenneth the Broke on the way out missed a super chat. LOL, $2. Thank you, Kenneth the Broke. You're the man. You're a man.
Thank you, Ken.
Again, guys, please come on over to the member section. We actually talk to you guys directly, and we're a little more loose. And Shane takes his pants off. It's a whole thing. You can't see it though. It's okay.
You don't want to.
Coming over. The water is warm as usual. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you, Kevin. Come on to the member section, bro.